Hey everyone! I thought I would make a quick video today showing you the project that I have chosen for day one of Make Madness 2018. If you haven't seen my post about that on Instagram or on my blog, Make Madness is where I choose a craft project of some kind to make every day in the month of March. And today I am starting with pom-poms. I think it was probably a couple months ago I was watching the Yarn Hoarder podcast, and Amber was sharing how she makes the pom-poms for the beautiful hats that she knits. And I was so enamored by all the colors and all the variety that I went and quickly ordered all the sizes of pom-pom makers, and I bought the Clover brand, and the sizes that I have go from 3/4 of an inch in diameter, tiny one, all the way up to this big guy here, and that is 3 3/8 inches. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think there's probably one that's maybe even a little bigger than this. And so I've just been having a blast making pom-poms. I do love the largest size, but as you can see, I've made a tiny one here just in comparison. And this guy was made with the pink. I haven't made any with the two tiniest ones yet, but that will be coming. So I've learned some things along the way. So the pom-pom makers, they come apart. So you have this bit here, these arms that come out. Don't know if I'm using the correct pom-pom maker terminology, but I call them arms. So these arms pop out, and these are where you wrap your yarn on either side. And I was kind of just wrapping, to fill, right in here, but that really didn't give a really full pom-pom. So I've started just wrapping to the point where I can barely close it in this piece here. And that's creating a nice full pom-pom. So you wrap the yarn on either side, and then you close them up, you close the arms up, and then you get a good pair of really sharp scissors, and you cut the yarn apart that's wrapped over here. And I'll demonstrate. I'll show you guys how to do that. Anyway, you cut it, and then you take a piece of string or piece of yarn for the tail. I've been doing about 12 inches, because you never know what you're going to tie this onto. And if you're securing it to a hat with a needle, it's always nice to have a nice long tail to work with. So I go about 12 inches. Obviously you can go longer if you want. And you secure the pom-pom with that this kind of comes apart. And then when you're done with that, you literally pull these apart. I'm sorry about that. We had a really bad storm today, and bits of tree are dropping onto our roof, and it's bothering my dogs. So hopefully she'll settle down, because I really don't want to start this video over again. Anyway, I will get to showing you how to do this. I will say that this is my first time with video making. I'm going to attempt to speed up sections of this so that you don't, fall asleep or feel like you're watching grass grow as I'm making the pom-pom. All in all, it is a very speedy craft. They go very quick. I mean, I made these in, I don't know, 45 minutes. I mean, there's a bunch of them here, all different sizes. The hardest thing is picking the next color, I will tell you. And the point where you take it off and then you start to trim to make them nice and even, that is probably the longest part. But it is tons of fun to do. So let me set these aside, and I will show you guys how to use these pom-pom makers. So like I said, the arms just come out like this. And I do one arm at a time, just easier to handle. And I've been using all acrylic yarn, a combination of Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn, which I do love this yarn, and Red Heart, good sturdy. And I've discovered too that the acrylic is, you know, obviously stands up really, really nicely and keeps its shape really well. So we'll use this. And the nice thing about the variegated is that it produces these beautiful, just gorgeous variegated pom-poms. And you can obviously don't need to use variegated. You can take different colors of yarn and wrap them independently and create your own. You can do, I guess, striping. I haven't tried that yet. I think the possibilities really are endless. So I just unravel a boatload of yarn, as much as you think that you're done, do a little bit more. And if you have skeins of extra acrylic lying around the house, this is just such a perfect project for it. So just to point out, when you cut, you're going to cut in these grooves here. So that's the outside edge of your pom-pom, meaning that your pom-pom bits literally will be here. So this is what it'll kind of look like, if that's making any sense. I say that to say, when you start wrapping your yarn, have the piece stand up like this against the curve of the arm, because then that will literally be a piece that'll be sticking out of your pom-pom, rather than down in where it'll probably just fall out because there's nothing holding it. It'll make more sense if you do it. So then you literally start wrapping. And I kind of start on the side here. Can you see that? Rather than right at the edge, just because it's easier to get a grip. But I have discovered that it's not really that important to start right at the edge. It is important to cover as evenly as possible, but this is not a strict science here. This is yarn wrapping. So I'll turn myself there. So we're just wrapping around. And like I said, sorry, got a frog in my throat. As you go around, you can obviously, go fast. And you just keep wrapping around. You don't want to catch it on the arm there. The edges are you kind of sort of slow up at the edges, but for the most part, you just keep going round and round and round. And like I said, I was stopping when it was like about here, but it didn't give me a full pom-pom. So I continue until I've pretty much covered this whole area here, to the point where I almost cannot close this in. Sorry, I gotta unravel more yarn. Like I said, it helps to unravel and get that all undone. Okay, back to wrapping. You just keep going back and forth. Oops. Getting to where And then where it's at a part where you like, I will put my thumb right here and just hold the piece and get my scissors and just cut it at the top. And then what you do is you just clamp it into and that holds everything in place. So you can go and do the other side. So I'll speed this part up and I'll do the other side and then come back when I'm ready to start cutting. Okay, so I just check and see that both sides are pretty evenly matched just in terms of the thickness. And then I do apologize for my throat. For some reason, you decide to start talking. The frogs show up. So there's my string that I'm going to tie the pom-pom with. And you just literally take your scissors, and as you can see, there's kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but there's sort of a notch in here, like a little space you can get your scissor in. And you literally just slip your scissor in, oops, and start cutting. Try and angle that so you can see it. And you line your scissor up against this channel here and just cut. The sharper the scissors, the better. I will attest to that. And you just go around. Now, sometimes the arms want to pop up, but just, you know, keep them from doing that. And you just cut. And you want to make sure you've cut all the way around. There was one that I made where one of the pieces didn't quite cut all the way through and it sort of shredded. So you just want to make sure. And don't make the mistake I did of thinking, oh, it's done, and popping the arm off and then all the bits just go everywhere. You need to do your string. So this is where you just take the string and you lay it in that channel there, and if you'll pull and it'll pop right into the middle of the pom-pom, which is what you want. And then you just tie it round, and this is the point where you need a little bit of muscle because you want to pull as tight as possible. And then I go around a second time, and all the while just going as tight as you can. And then around the third is where I just tie a knot. So I just loop the yarn through, pull it down really securely, and the yarn's not going to break. It hasn't broken yet on me. It's pretty strong. And then voila, you're ready to unveil your pom-pom. So you just literally take the arms and pull them up, and there's your lovely pom-pom, at least one side of it. And then you take the other arm, where is it? There it is. And you pop that up. And this is the fun part. These, remember I showed you, they were they come apart. There's a tiny metal spring. I don't know if you can see that there. And that just goes into a corresponding hole right there. Close that up. So you just literally pull apart, and there's your pom-pom. Now it's kind of, and then you just pop them back together, the pom-pom maker. Now it's a little unwieldy when you first take it off of the maker. I like to kind of just tie toss it around in my hands just to get the yarn to sort of lay even. But you can see that there are not even bits, like that one's a wild hair there. So you take your scissors and here's my pom-pom dust, as I'm calling it. It's just a empty box. You could use a trash bag, whatever, somewhere to corral this stuff, because it's like confetti, and I have to say it makes me very happy. It's odd, but it will get everywhere, and yeah, you don't want that. So you just start trimming. You just take your scissors and you start trimming. I will say that you want to be judicious with how you trim. There was one pom-pom that was significantly smaller than when I first started, only because I got a little crazy, took off a little too much, and then of course you've got to even that out, and you end up with something that is not the size you started with. So you just kind of, whatever look you want to end up with, you just keep trimming, and that's all there is to it. Just keep going. And then I'm holding this with the string right now, but obviously you want to do the whole, and I just kind of fluff it up some more, give it some more, and that kind of reveals if there's any other wild hairs that are lurking. It also, if there's bits of this pom-pom dust, you're able to shake that out of the pom-pom, and there you go. It's a pom-pom. So this has been day 1 of Make Madness. I don't know if I will do a video every day. I do know I'm writing up a blog post every day for the crafts the projects rather, that I will be working on, and they are at my blog, which is www.whilewalkingmydogs.com, and that is all one word, obviously. I'll write it up on the screen here. So I would love it if you would join me, and I hope this encourages anybody out there that just wants to kind of get on the making bandwagon. Whatever you're interested in, if it's something that, if you like to cook, or if you like to sew, or whatever it is, just commit. You don't have to commit to every day like me. It really is madness doing it every day, but I've wanted to do this for a while. I did this about 3 years ago, and you can find that also on my blog when I did this, obviously March of 2015, and it was a lot of fun. It gives me permission to work on things that I normally say I want to work on, but don't ever really get to it because of life and all of the stuff that's involved with that. So it's just, this isn't a time that I give myself to be able to do this stuff. I will say I pick projects that are ones that are achievable in a day. And when I say a day, I mean 4 to 5 hours. Because I also have to write the blog post up, take the pictures, all that stuff. And so I don't want the stress of feeling like I'm going to miss a deadline or anything like that. So thanks so much for joining me. I hope you had fun watching this. I hope that this inspires you in some capacity in your making, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.